Today we're going to cover over some basic strumming patterns. We're just going to use a thin pick, a very thin pick. This is, see how it's blendable. It's bendable, really bendable. Now there are I use three different types of picks. I use the white one for more of a strumming, and it gives me a sharper sound when I'm strumming. I use a medium pick if I want to kind of somewhat between, it's not as thin. If I want to somewhat pick and strum at the same time. And if I know all I'm going to do is pick, I'm going to use a thicker pick. It's not bendable at all. So we're just going to do practice on more of a strumming pattern, so I'm going to use a thin pick. You can hear how it sounds. Now, all I'm going to do is just use my forearm from my elbow down. So I'll just kind of rake it down, rake it back up. Okay? But make sure just enough to touch you want to point it in toward the strings. Just enough where you can touch the strings. See how my pick is just sliding down the strings. So what I'm going to do is we're going to practice doing up and down with our hand just like this, just barely touching the strings. So I'm going to take my hand up here just to mute it. I'm not doing anything but just muting it. Just put my hand up here so you can hear that noise. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now that what I'm doing is setting a tempo. There's no key because I'm just muting the strings, and you can do that in any key. Just 2, 3, 4. So if I went 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's 3/4 timing. I'm going down, up, down, down, up, down. So I go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. It's in 4/4 timing. But we'll learn about that later. I'm just kind of getting your arm to go up and down. So like that. Now sometimes I might just go down, 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 down. Or I might go down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. So we just realize different strumming patterns, different strumming techniques work differently in each song. So if we learn how to go down, up, then there might be sometimes we go down, up, down, down. Okay, so combine that. Now we're going to start using our left hand. Now these silver bars here are called frets. So when I say put your finger on the second fret, that means if I want to put my middle finger there, I'm going to put it right behind the bar. So it pushes that string against that middle bar that makes it sound. Or the third fret. I put it on the fret itself, you hear that hum. We don't want the hum. So put it behind the fret to get that nice clear sound. So in order to make a G chord, we're going to use a G note as the root. So this is E, F, F sharp, G. There's my G note right there, my lowest G note I can make. So we're going to, from there, with my middle finger, I'm going to put my first finger on the second fret, 5th string behind the fret, and my ring finger on the third fret, very bottom string. This is my G chord. So now if I just kept this finger here, just kept this here, and just go like this, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You notice what I'm doing there, time is I'm counting the downstrokes, not counting the upstrokes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the reason why, if I was going to play that speed, the upstroke is considered and. So if I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's more of an 8th notes. But if we just go down, 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 down. Or we can go down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So that's a G chord. And it's when we want you to practice your G chord. Make sure it's nice and clean just like that. The next chord is a C chord because I want my C note to be my root note. So here's my first C I can find. The 5th string, 3rd fret. Now with that chord, I can also play all the strings. I can still go down, up on that. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So we're doing just getting the arm working together, the arm like this, full arm, with my chord. So once I get the chord shape in place, once you get there, just practice that down up. Where it's nice and clean, just like that. So the next chord I'll make is a D chord. So my finger is going to be down here. I'm putting my first, as I go, this is the first string down here. So we count up. So this is the first string down here. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So I want to bring my middle finger on the second fret, very first string, right behind the bar there. My first finger on the third string, second fret. So we got a string between them. And my ring finger that is taking up that string in the middle on the third fret. So in this particular case, we don't want to hit the top string. So we're going to strum from the fifth string down. See if you can practice that without hitting the top string. Okay? So it's fifth string down. And we can use our arm if we want to. What we're going to do now is we're going to use these three chords in a song called Boil 'em Cabbage, which is going from G to C, back to G to D, back to G to C, back to G, D, G. So we're going to do 2 strums a piece, real slow. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1. If you notice, all I'm doing is strumming down. So if I want to strum up, then I go down, up, down, up. So it'd be 4 strums going 1, 2, 3, 4. You can go, but that song can be played at different speeds. I just want to show you the difference between just doing down and so when you change the chords, very important when you change the chords, you know when I'm going to change a chord right when I know I'm going to hit that next strum. So your basically what's most important is your timing and tempo of the song. So if I know I'm going to go to a different chord, I want to make sure I allow myself enough time when I strum down. If I do strum down, I'm going to go C next. I want to keep my strum the same. So basically when I'm pulling up my hand to strum again, my hand's going to change over here. So while my hand's coming up for the next strum, I want to change my chord and have my hand in position before my hand comes down that strum. So if I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Now the next chord we're going to throw into is an E minor. And this is pretty easy to make. It's just two. I use my 2 middle fingers, my ring and my ring finger, my middle finger and my ring finger, and put them on the 2nd fret, the 5th string and 4th string. You can play them with these two, but I guarantee you find it a lot easier to play with these because there's another chord called the E major, which is made like this. So if you get in a position of making an E minor with these two middle fingers, it's much easier to go from E to E minor with just one finger. So get in the habit of playing with these two fingers. It'll be a lot easier. So this is an E minor. Because the next song we're going to play will have an E minor in it. Now we just learned 3 chords, G, C, and D. I'm going to teach you 2 chords at a time now. We're going to learn the E minor, and we're going to learn a G7. G is normally here to here to here, as I showed you earlier. For the G7, I'm going to move this finger up to here using this finger instead, the first fret, and making these 2 fingers use as top notes. And I'm playing that bottom string as an F note now. So there's a song called I Fly Away that uses G, G7, C, E minor, and D. So let's find out. When this life is old, I fly away. Got some next to shore, I fly away. Fly away, oh Gloria. All I did is there just down on the right hand stage, the same thing, just the same thing, but down, up, down. You can do down, up, down. All I'm doing is our hands like this. Same thing, just all I'm doing with my hand. So if we do that, when this life is all we're doing is the right hand is down, up, down, up, down, up, down, just like I'm showing you there. And I would suggest very strongly is the slowest part of your playing right now will be trying to go from one chord to the next. That's the slowest part. So whatever time it takes you to get from one chord to the next, that's your slowest part. So all the songs should be built upon that slow part. So if it's like 1, 2, morning, when this life is old. Celestial shore. That's all we're doing is trying to working on getting that chord changes from G to C to G to D to E minor. So the biggest thing I'm trying to do right now is just give you songs to work on the chord changes, knowing how to go from a G to C, G to D, G, C to D, C back to G, D back to G. That's all we're doing is working on muscle memory to getting those chords in. So even if you're sitting there and you don't want to play with your right hand, you say, I got the right hand down. Okay, take your left hand and just try to get the chords. Well, you ain't worried about playing anything. And just go from C to G. And just work your way, just doing different chord techniques. It doesn't matter which way you go. Every time you pat your guitar, C, D, G, C, D, G, C, D, G, C. That's all you got to do is work on that horn. Now when we work on the left hand to do the chord changes, the right hand is just going to go down, up, down, up, down for now.